Hi, Peter Carlos here with Melbourne Actors Lab. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while since I've posted. Anyway, today I want to talk about writing and creating your own material. I can't stress this enough. I've talked about this in the past. Look, I know that not everyone is a writer, but there just isn't enough work available to hire every actor out there. So when you start getting into it, I always tell people, first of all, write what you know. Don't write something a world you're completely unaware of. Write something that's close to home. Think of a short film, all right? And if you make one short and then another short, eventually you can build up from there. You'll get to know yourself as a writer. I've got some tips here that were given to me by J.F. Lawton, Jonathan Lawton, who wrote Pretty Woman many years ago. These are some writing tips. These are technical. I'll read these out first. These are the technical tips. And then we'll talk about the structure and the stories to look for yourself and why it's important to create your own material. So, this is called 10 Basic Rules for Modern Screenplays. Number 1, feature film scripts should be between 95 and 120 pages long. Never longer, never shorter than 90 minutes. The perfect length is 100 pages for the comedies, 110 for drama. Each page represents 1 minute for screen time. Number 2, do not use camera directions. Do not use words like camera, close-up, long shot, dolly shot, or anything that refers to the camera. Do not use cut to or any reference to editing. At the beginning of the script, you put fade in. At the end, you put fade out. You may also use 2 dissolves in the entire script, no more. Older writers commonly use camera direction, but it is a practice that is now highly frowned upon. Your job is to just write the script, let them decide what to cut in and all that stuff, right? Dialogue should be generally 1 to 3 to 4 lines long. Only occasionally should it be more than 4 lines. Keep it short and simple. A few monologues are all right, but even then they should be broken up with an action. He drags on a cigarette, grabs himself a drink, right? Make sure they're under 10 lines, nothing longer. Long patches of one character talking are boring and are hard to read. Number 4, scene description should be kept to a minimum. Many studios' eyes don't even read the description. They really don't. They just kind of scan the script, right? If they can get past the story from the dialogue, they give up, right? Once again, the scene description should be 1 to 3 lines long and never more than 5 lines long without a break. If you're describing a lot of action, then break it into log line paragraphs with a double spacing in between. Number 5, a scene from the slug line to the next should be between less than 1 page to 3 pages and never more than 5 pages long. The average scene should be 1.5 pages or less. Big important scenes can be 3 to 4 pages long. Keep the script moving. If you have a lot of dialogue or information to get out, try to break up the scene into several locations. Let's go to the park and I'll tell you more about it. So then you move to a park, stuff like that. Tip number 6, characters' names should begin with different letters to make reading easier. Susan, Jack, Harry, Mary are involved. It's complicated and simple. Not Susan, Sam, Stan, Sarah. It's too hard for the reader to remember, right? Which is true. In particular, characters that are likely to talk to each other, the name should start with completely different letters and different lengths, not Lyle and Kyle, which is obvious because as a reader, you're not familiar with them yet. When you're watching the script, it's easy because you remember their faces, or the actor. Number 7, if a character has half a dozen lines or so, and only appears in 1 or 2 scenes, refer to them as their occupation: policeman, maid, prostitute. This is a clue to the reader that they do not have to worry about this character fitting into their memory. It's just there for that scene. Give them a name only if it's important to do so or they have a significant effect to the story. Number 8, do not use parentheticals except when you have to. A parenthetical is put before a line or dialogue describe how it should be read. Angry, sad, laughing. This is massive, by the way, right? You may use 4 in an entire script. A parenthetical is used only when a theme is a chance that the reader might misinterpret a line. Sarcastic, sure I will. Amateurs use parentheticals at the front of almost every line. Slug lines, the first line of the scene describing place and time, always begin with interior or exterior. They always end with night or day. Do not use magic hour, late afternoon, or anything else. Only morning or sunset. It is very important to the story. Use interior, description, Peter's bedroom, and then night or day. Just night or day. That's all you need, right? Number 10, sorry. Characters Characters' names in a scene description are capitalized only once when they first appear in the script. Sounds are capitalized, bang, when the gun goes off. But don't get carried away with capitalizing sounds. Just keep it simple, all right? You don't have to put he's shuffled. Just shuffle these small caps, right? Stick to loud, important sounds that are important for the character or the scene. If in doubt, don't capitalize at all. Nothing else in a scene description should be capitalized. In the old days, sometimes lighting effects, props, and other stuff were capitalized, but this has fallen out of practice. These are technical tips. And probably one of the best programs to write is Final Draft. You don't have to. He still writes, I still believe, in Microsoft Word, so you can just make all the adjustments. Having said all that technical stuff, which is important, right? As far as a short film, keep it between, say, 7 and 15 minutes long. Nothing longer, all right? Yes, there is the exception. You can always argue exceptions, but until you get there, keep within the norm. The other thing is, write close to home. Here's what I mean by that. You can start your story, and I'll use a pencil to say this, beginning, middle, and end. I did it as ABC. If you think of a story for a short, right, beginning, middle, and end, only film the top part, the pinnacle of the scene. That was a shitty example, but you get what I'm saying, right? Meaning, with a short film, you don't have much time to get into it. So you've got to start in the middle of an argument, in the middle of a discussion. Do you know what I'm saying? And don't treat the audience as an idiot. They'll get what's going on. You don't have to explain everything. I don't go up to my sister and say, hi sister, how are you? We get it by the dialogue. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, as far as writing, I've used this many, many times before. You're sitting there watching TV, you get an idea, write it down. Use these cards or use either flashcards or just get a regular A4 paper, cut it up in 4 or 5 pieces. So your ideas now sit here. Boy meets girl. Girl meets another boy. There you go. That's a great example. So then you understand that this card comes before this card. And then it's easy to move these things around and try and write it. Also, make sure you're in the film, because ultimately that's why you're doing this. And make sure when you cast yourself in it, don't actually think yourself, cast someone else in it, and then put yourself in it. Why this is important to do so. Imagine I'm a producer or director. I've got 2 identical actors with identical acting skill. Here's what it comes down to. They're going to ask, what has that actor done? This actor can say they've studied at every acting school in the entire world. This actor is going to go, I've done short films, 5 of them. Who do you think they're going to cast? The one that has made product. And that's what it comes down to. Don't worry about budgets. Don't worry about money. If you let that stop you, will never finish anything, right? And the other thing I tell people also about finishing, you're going to have many different ideas. So you're going to have one card about this script, one card about, some story grandma told you, one card. Eventually these cards start to build up, and then give yourself a deadline. I have to finish 1 a year. And then start. This is an important story. At the end of the day, I'm going to pick this one and finish this one. I'll finish that one next year. Finish your script, rewrite it, find people, film it. You've got 1 film under your belt, and you can put on IMDb, which today in this world, that's what they count on. Tomorrow might be something new, right? But right now, you're a product. The more product you have under yourself as an actor, the more marketable you are. So get to work, write. Talk again soon.